Welcome back to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What's up, y'all?
This is going to be an interesting podcast for us because we can't see ourselves.
That's right. It's new to me.
It wasn't working, so we're rolling with it.
Winging it.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what I'm going to be staring at, you know?
We don't know.
I don't trust that Eastman set up this properly, so we may not be in focus right, you know, so.
See.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yep.
It's hot outside.
Dude, tell me about it.
But in good news, at least we don't live in Texas right now because it's hot outside and a lot of people don't have power after that hurricane.
I know, damn, Burl. What you doing?
Yeah, Burl.
Hurricane Burl?
Luckily, though, I think it hit Jamaica or something as a Cat 5 or a Cat 4, and then it slowed down and then hit Mexico and then went back up to hit Texas.
Folks are saying like their ACs can't hang. I mean, we just had to shoot downstairs.
Yeah, so the AC in the storefront, it said it was like 82 degrees in the storefront, and poor Venetia in the storefront, it's like, it's really hot in here, and I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't you tell us? So I think it was just the drain line, which for you homeowners out there know, especially in Florida or Texas where you're running your AC a lot, you got to make sure that drain line doesn't get clogged with snot. It's literally like snot.
Dude, it's gross, but whatever.
But so we blew and sucked out the drain lines. I don't know any other way to say that. Wow. All right. So,
all right, let's jump into it. What do we got today?
Yeah, there's so much interesting things that I've seen lately.
The world is wild, y'all.
The first one I wanted to talk about, just because this is a very hypothetical question, is just, so there's a police officer that pulled over a driverless car. Have you seen the video at all?
I haven't seen the video.
Long story short, I don't think you need to watch the video to know what happens, but the police officer pulls over the driverless car. It actually does pull over into like a parking lot, but it was going the wrong way on a one-way street. And judging by the video, it actually looks like the reason it was doing that was like there was some construction. It was like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know?
Sure.
Which, I mean, I get some confused in construction zones sometimes.
Yeah.
390, like
that sounds completely reasonable. I haven't seen the video, but like, how many people have you seen slowly, usually creeping, going like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Doing. Yeah. So long story short, the cop like gets on the phone with like some kind of dispatch thing, tells the person what's going on. The guy's like, let me review the footage. He's like, oh, yep, they did that. And then I looked and like they didn't give a ticket. And I think the thing is like, who do you give a ticket to? It's tough, right? Because we're allowing all this technology out, and like the purpose of what a ticket has been is just kind of building that against your record. Hey, this person just does not really care about driving laws,
right,
or whatever. You know, cops do have the discretion, which giving somebody that any discretion in that position is tough, but they can look on your record and go, all right, this dude follows all the rules. He literally was lost and was driving the wrong way down the road, didn't know.
Right.
I don't know. You don't have anybody to give a ticket to because no one was driving it. It's not anyone's fault. But like, and like, what are you going to do? Make enough coding errors and you lose your ability to code driving cars? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like you could find the company, but that's not necessarily going to do anything.
Well, it's really not going to do anything. But yeah, I mean, if you could find the company, you should probably find the company. I don't know. We've talked about the driverless car thing, the self-driving. I think is going to be so much more detrimental than it is going to be helpful to people and their overall. Yeah, man, people are just.
Yeah, I mean, I could see cases for it though. Like you know, in a few weeks we're gonna go down to Orlando with my family, you know, and
it'll
imagine
be convenient.
If I could just be there with my family hanging out. You know?
It'll be convenient, but we'll figure out ways to work more. We'll figure out ways to fill our time. You know, it's the same thing the grocery store.
Oh yeah,
trip. Like we talked about, it's going to be useful, and I'm going to use the hell out of it. And I don't let this stuff consume me, but like, I don't know. Just seems like it's one more step.
Yeah, well, we can talk about the glorification of busy in another podcast. But you know, we're talking about fining them. Did you hear about Boeing pleaded guilty?
Yeah, but
did you hear about their fine?
Yeah, which I think it just sounds like a lot to us.
It was like $250 million.
Yeah.
Well, when you actually work it out, it comes out to something like 0.31% of their yearly revenue.
Oh yeah, okay. That's my point. Is that the way it was presented, the way I saw it was like, oh, they got hit with this massive fine, and I was like, they just got to do run it like the Wild West. I mean,
they probably save that much money in cutting corners.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. I don't, no, this is not going to do anything. This is not going to,
Well, the video I was watching about it kind of just proposed this question. Is it like Boeing is too big to fail? You know, and I think we're seeing that a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Of companies that are getting too big to fail.
I think these companies, you know, the best at it of them all, you know, the Federal Reserve, I mean, they just intertangle themselves in our economy so greatly. They're like, what are you going to do? Like, who's going to step in and be Boeing?
Right.
You know, and so like the only folks that you've got to watch out for are like the disruptors of the world out there, the Elons or whatever, that'll be like, we'll take it. We'll run it.
Right.
You know, but man, these government contracts, they're huge. All the Lockheeds, the whatever.
Like Honeywell, Lockheed.
They run on, and that just so much revenue.
And it's really, they don't really have to fight anyone for it.
They don't. Who's going to do it?
I think who else does Boeing have to compete with? Isn't it like, what's it called? Airbus?
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's all they really have competition with. Like who else makes planes? And
not at that scale, not at that size.
Well, yeah, it's like,
I mean, you go Lockheed, you go Northrop, you go Raytheon, you go one of the other people that could do it, but it's like,
but get in that industry. Like Adam, if you were going to start a plane,
that's the point. That's the point. Is that like they're so entrenched, their rosters are made up of ex. You know, you were in the military, you dealt with plenty of these folks. Your ex-colonel is now their like section leader in the Raytheon side.
Yeah.
And so he's dealing with all his old people, his buddies, his whatever. You want that sweet gig when you get out, go ahead and make sure these contracts get pushed through.
Well, you know, the government contracting company down here, SAIC, they're all, and they work with the Navy base here. They're all, like one of the girls working there used to be the CO of the naval base.
Yeah.
And then like all these other people. And so they all know the people in there, and it's crazy. You want to talk about real wealth is you build a company that can get government contracts. Yep. You're set. It's so much fluff in those things.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's why I don't like the government spending my money for me, because they don't do a good job.
They don't do a good job. They don't fact check, man. They couldn't run it like a company like we do, man.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Well, again, we'll just keep on running down that travel theme, you know, talking about Boeing and all that stuff. Spain is harassing tourists and telling them to go home. And when I say that, in your mind, you probably have this picture.
Yeah.
But I want you to take that and just escalate it to the 10th degree.
Really?
They're literally going to hotels and taping off the entrances and the exits of the hotels and standing there as human barricades. And when people try to come out, they're like squirting them with water guns.
Who is doing this? The Spaniards?
Yeah.
The government or
no,
like the locals?
Locals. And then they were at restaurants, and all the outside eating you see in like Europe and stuff like that, they're just like spraying people with water guns and like telling them to go home. I don't think people, like, I get their frustration, right? Because we live in a very tourist place.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to drive down the beach when it's a 45 or a 55 and someone's doing 20 because they don't know where they need to go. And it's not just someone, it's like everyone, because they don't know where they need to turn and all that stuff. But the amount of revenue that tourism drives for the local community is astronomical.
We'd be dead without it.
Yeah.
We'd be dead without it. I don't know. I have no context. I haven't even heard of this.
Yeah, go ahead and open that
video
TikTok video for the Spain one. Oh, you had that one? Yeah, either or.
But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what they're going through.
You
but like
press O, or you can just hit open hyperlink.
If you were thinking about visiting Spain this year, don't. Because they don't want you. You see, recently a number of anti-tourism protests have been carried out by locals. But today, they went as far as shouting at people go home while spraying water guns at tourists while they were just sitting down eating. Guests were even prevented from leaving their hotels after protesters taped up the exits. And it's not just a few people that feel this way. Tens of thousands of people have joined these campaigns in countries around the world. Locals in cities from Rome to Venice to Amsterdam, Lisbon, Prague, Santorini, and even many places in Japan and Bali. Well, they've become so frustrated with tourists jamming up streets, making noise, partying, littering, and driving up the prices of housing. They say that a number of the most iconic destinations around the world have become both unlivable for locals and too overcrowded, unsafe, and uncomfortable for visitors. But because tourism contributes contributes to a country's economy quite significantly, you probably won't be seeing any flat-out restrictions anytime soon. You might just get a few more nasty looks and feel a lot more unwelcome. So the question is, do you agree with locals and tourism is getting out of hand? Or will this not deter you from your holiday this summer?
Oh, I'm conflicted.
Well, yeah. So, like, do I agree that tourism is out of hand? Yeah, because it's capitalism. I think I would go as far to say as 25% of the homes on like the frontage part of Panama City Beach, like probably like middle beach / back beach forward in that area are Airbnbs or some kind of rentals.
Well, that's what I mean. Hearing it from. Thinking about it in multiple angles, like I get it. I want to be able to see places. I want to be able to go and travel. It's good for their economy. It does stimulate their economy wherever you're going. But then also thinking about it, the amount of people I know that have up and moved to somewhere in Southeast Asia, Bali or the Philippines or something to arbitrage that life. They live, they're a internet-based job, basically.
Right.
They're buying better real estate than the locals, and they're driving it up. It's like when all those crypto guys made money in 2020 and went down to Puerto Rico to buy skirt some tax laws. Now there's all these ridiculous Puerto Rican mansions that, like, it's beautiful there, but the economy doesn't support it.
Right.
So they're like just big empty houses for most of the year that, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but my point of that is like some local workers made money building this huge mansion, right? And so like when I look at Panama City, if you got rid of tourism in Panama City, the city would pretty much die.
Right.
I mean, you want to talk about, I think a lot of people don't understand this, but like Aubrey's little hometown that she grew up in of like 1,800 people is probably like 1,400 people now.
Yeah.
So it's shrunk in that size because unless you have a remote position, there just isn't a workforce there anymore or like jobs to sustain that kind of population. So when you look at a place like Panama City with the people that they have, I mean, majority of the jobs are on with the tourism industry, like working in
directly or indirectly for sure. We revolve around tourism here. I don't know. It's tough, but it's also made it too expensive. I mean, like the amount of people I knew that had condos on the beach growing up
was a lot. I did.
Yeah. And now I don't.
Right.
So like,
yeah.
The cost. I mean, shit, you made some money on the Airbnb thing because you had one during the popularity, but go get one now.
Yeah, it's harder. Way harder.
And we make more now. Then it's still harder. So it's like, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I think I understand their frustration, but part of me is like, well, you like living there because of the things that it offers tourists. Yep. If you go move out into like the middle of nowhere Spain, and you ain't gonna have tourist problems.
Nope. Yeah, you're right.
So it's like you want to be able to live there and enjoy all of the things that tourists would enjoy, but just for you.
Yeah, I get it. That's tough.
So for me, it's just like if you want to live at a place that has all these great things, it's gonna probably be a tourist attraction, and then you can't get mad. It'd be like I want to live in Orlando so I can go to Disney whenever I want, but no one else better come to Disney from out of state. Because they don't live near here,
Yeah, so, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just side with like move or get over it because at the end of the day, like it's literally what.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I'm not going to go there and squirt people that are just enjoying themselves with water guns. That's absolutely not what I'm going to do. I don't know. I feel for those people though, I guess, because I know what it's like to get squeezed.
Well, maybe this is just too much of a brash topic, but like in the U.S., squirt someone with a water gun, you could get literally shot because I don't know what's in that water gun. You could have acid in that water gun for all I know.
You damn sure catching hands.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that's people. Some hands went flying. I think the water guns went stop, but maybe that's too extreme of a measure for that. So let's see. Well, I guess talking about traveling. It's nice to have your smartphone when you travel, but people are turning in their smartphones for, I guess they're calling them dumb phones, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. The youth.
Yeah. Well, no, they're talking about like they're talking about people across the U.S. in general. Like, I guess last year alone in 2023, 2.8 million dumb phones were sold.
Yeah. Well, folks are, I see it says to prevent zombie mode, but like, I'll believe that. I see people just zoned out, man, watching their phones.
Do y'all do anything like with your phones to like make sure you're present with your kids and stuff? Or I know you probably aren't nearly as bad as
I just toss my phone when I get home. You know, if there's no need where somebody's going to get a hold of me, like we're running equipment or whatever, then no, I don't even get on it.
So the other day I like left my phone in the room, and then obviously I have a watch that will like alert me text and phone calls. So it's like almost like I still have the ability to like go grab it if I need to like answer a call. But what it did keep me from doing, it's just like, it's weird, but like that the 1 second your brain goes, oh, you're kind of bored. You like, I just like grab it and I like open up an app.
Yeah. So man, no, I don't know. I don't think we're bored enough. We've talked about that plenty, but no, the other day sat down, made my kids just watch a movie with me. When I watch a movie or something, I don't have my phone on me because I'll get bored and get on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it and then it's stupid and just don't have it on you.
Yeah. So one thing that I'm trying to do is, you know, I walk for like about 30 minutes in the morning and I walk for 30 minutes like later in the day. I'm going to use that as like my phone time, and I get that hour. That's that hour. And so this morning on the treadmill, I asked people, you know, yesterday if they had any contacts with like ice cream places.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, DM me if you have direct contacts, you know, not like, hey, check out my favorite ice cream place. But I still got, I mean, I would probably say 200 DMs. And a lot of them were like, hey, check out my favorite ice cream place. Yeah. But I think about 30 or 40 of them were actual like legitimate leads. And so I put them all into like a folder, and our assistant is putting them all into an Excel file for Christian to start calling.
My average screen time's 3 hours. I don't know.
Mine's about 4.5. Yeah. So mine is longer. But
what's the apps? Do you go in and look at what apps you use?
Yeah, believe it or not, I think that like my mail app is like one of the
highest. That and ShipStation.
Yeah. Gmail is really high. And then I think for me, it goes like Gmail, then Instagram, then Facebook. I check Facebook because I like occasionally want to just check I don't know, local people. Plus I check to see like how we're doing on there. But Instagram is mainly just like, I guess technically my business work type thing. But I mean, I do scroll too much. And so I think this is a way of like eliminating some of that.
It's bad for you. I mean, it's bad for our brains. We haven't adapted. I think everything is so high frequency now and so constant and so on demand, and you're prone to it. I'm prone to it. Just shiny, you know? And
I have this weird, like, I don't know, desire, I think, to just be informed about what's happening in my friend's life. So almost so that like I could add to the conversation if I see them, or even just like messaging in them being like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like just like, hey, I'm involved in your life. But then I was like, why? Yeah. Why? You know what? I want to see my friend and then be like, oh, and tell me something, and not me go like, oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's how I am. I want you to tell me, or I don't want to know.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? I want to be, either I'm a person that oh man, I need to tell you this, or I'm not. You know, because you kind of like fake it. You bring it up and they're like, oh yeah. And then they're just telling you about their experience, but like, it's not like, oh, I need to go call this person or tell this person.
Right.
It's different. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the world fake. But that's the hardest thing that I've had to like do disconnecting with, because before, like when I went to bed, like I wanted to make sure that I had like no stories to watch. I want to make sure I had no DMs. I want to make sure that like, I guess I'd seen my feed essentially. And like now I'm going to bed with like stories and DMs unanswered and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'll get to them, or I won't. Yeah. And that's been hard, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. Good.
I'm making it.
Good, man. Work in progress.
So, let's see, what else do we have on here? Well, speaking of replacing smartphones with dumb phones, you have Amazon replaced 100,000 humans with 750,000 robots. That's quite interesting if it was meant to like be a 1-to-1 replacement. I don't know. I don't know if it was like you got rid of 100,000 people, we brought in 750,000 robots because we were also building out other processes or what. But it's interesting. But you and I both saw that guy in the Philippines that was like restocking a shelf and how slow it was. So maybe you would need 7 robots.
Yeah. So for what he's talking about, we saw this video and it didn't do a lot of fact checking, but it said it was in Toronto. They were arbitraging Filipino price labor to utilize, virtual reality, augmented, whatever, to remote control this robot, and that the latency rates, whatever, the speeds in these third world countries are so fast that and with 5G and with everything, it just makes it all possible. I don't know if they're doing some of that here now. We talked about them using just like a slew of call center people to like watch what was going on in the Scan and Go stores.
Yeah.
Which again, how is that not stock manipulation or whatever? But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We have this technology no one has. Everyone has that.
Yeah, it's really wild to think about that. And you know what we had talked about with the person in the Philippines that was working is like how crucial like internet is become. You know, for those that don't know, like we literally have 2 ISPs at the fact, and we're building now because we had their internet go down a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't like one of those like it went down and it's back an hour later. It was like out for like pretty much the whole entire afternoon, and then it didn't come back until the morning. And at that point I was like, we rely too much on the internet, like our phones do, shipping does, ordering ingredients, like everything pretty much. I mean, I think we can mix dough without the internet.
Scary how the world comes to a stop.
But because of that, and we were talking about internet speeds, Japan just set the world record, and it's I think it's 402 terabits per second, or 402,000 gigabytes per second, which, to put in that perspective, we have fiber internet, which I thought was like screaming at 1,000 or like 1 gigabyte, 1,000 megabytes, so 1 gig.
That's insane.
And this is 402,000. You would be able to like upload a 4K hour-long YouTube video in like
instantly.
Yeah, a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. I don't even know why you would need internet that fast, but
fuck quantum computing, man. All the
well, what we were talking about is like if you were downloading something, you're not restricted by your download speed. You're restricted by your write speed of the like computer components because like I don't know.
Well, but if they can tether all these chipsets together to just use a huge mesh network to where it's like you're not even writing, they're literally in real time calculating.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but yeah. Well,
NVIDIA,
it just makes you wonder like where we're going to be at in a few years from now, because I remember when fiber internet first came out and it was like, oh, you rich, you got fiber internet. Cause it was like, I mean, I want to say it was stupid, like $1,000 a month. And then it went down and down. And now we're paying like $150 a month for fiber. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where we're at. But like, I think by the time like, Letty is 20 years old.
Dude, I don't even think we can think in those terms. I think everything is gone. So we're going to be like our parents trying to like make believe stuff. It's so fast. I mean, drone technology, everything is moving so quickly that I don't think cars are going to look like cars. I think they're going to function however the hell they want them to.
Yeah.
Everything's going to do everything for everyone in a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you're right. Like if you asked our parents, like the progression of technology, and then you think about like how much quicker technology has been advancing over the past 20 years versus the first 20 years. So like my grandma, I've kind of like pseudo interviewed her just to like prepare her for some of the questions. And I was like, how often did you go to the grocery store? And the question, and that was like every couple of days you went, right? Because there weren't preservatives and things like that in the food. So like you had to go get fresh food like every couple of days. And she was like, yeah, sometimes we take the buggy. And I was like, what's the buggy? She's like horse and buggy. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like that, And so it's just funny to think about. Like she remembers, they had a car. She remembers buying her first car and like how much it costs and all that stuff. And, thinking about this was like in the like 50s.
Yeah.
And then, now we were talking about the fact that we have like people doing technically flying vehicles with like stuff.
Well, you're just going to have a whole class of people that don't have anything left to do. They've always been able to like kind of move down the totem pole, but it's like, dude, they're talking in the short next couple of years, doctors effectively answering to an AI situation.
Right.
Because it'll be the safest, most, insurance friendly, like,
for Aubrey, we were talking about as an SLP, you have to do continuing education.
Yep.
And continuing education for anyone that doesn't ever have to do that is really just because technology and things are changing so much. They want to make sure you're like up to date on the newest methods or stuff like that. So she's like, if I didn't do my continuing education, essentially I would just have to like retake the exam to get my license again. but she's like, that would be a pain because you pretty much have to like study like you were doing your continuing education things. But I think that's like the good part about AI is like some doctor that doesn't have this new information or hasn't seen it, has no idea about this other stuff, and AI is going to have it, or a lawyer is going to be like, well, I know all this case law, so I can tell you exactly right away your chances of winning your case based on like all this previous case law and everything, calculating it based on the judge, what they've ruled on other cases, like all that stuff.
It's going to be a little weird. It's going to make people useless though.
Do you think that like in general, like everything is just kind of like a math problem? Like if you really like solve it down, like even your personality can kind of be like
binary.
Yeah.
You could
to the point where like you could pretty much predict the outcomes of things.
Yeah, you could in theory.
Yeah. Interesting. That's like Minority Report or whatever.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you'd be dealing all the way down to like very binary Boolean algebra. Like, but yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh man, that's wild. Because AI would be able to compute all that stuff. So it'd literally be like,
it would give you like the Doctor Strange events of like, depending on the variables that could change within the certain circumstance, these are your, I mean, it could do that.
I don't know if we lost anyone. We just went really nerdy right there.
Yeah, sorry.
But in my mind, I was thinking about the fact that like, if you hired some AI lawyer, literally they could look at you within the first like couple of seconds of like reviewing your case and who the judge was going to be or like whatever, and be like, you know, based on this judge's history and the evidence that you're providing, you have a 50% chance of winning or an 80% chance of winning, you know, and it potentially could tell you like, hey, we need to get X, Y, and Z, and then we increase our chances to this much, you know? And so it's very interesting because it's almost like you're going from playing checkers to playing chess or something. I don't know. But speaking, I guess, of lawyers, I like to just try to piggyback onto everything just so people don't. There's a new law in Illinois for family influencers. They have to pay 15% of their earnings to children.
You going to go to Illinois? You like that or not?
I do not like that. I think the reason I don't like it is because a lot of it is, in my opinion, it's too like up in the air.
Yeah.
It says appears in 30% of your monetized content online.
Yeah.
Well, that gets like really hairy into some aspects. It's like 30 minutes of runtime, 30 minutes, like what exactly does 30% mean? You know? If I don't know, I guess there's a lot there. And then two, it's like, what if they do appear in a lot of a monetized platform that doesn't make a lot of money, and you have other platforms that you make a whole lot of money on, but they're not shown at all? The way this is said is essentially they're entitled to 15% of your revenue.
I think it's stupid. I take care of my family, and I don't want the government in my house.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously it doesn't hit close to home like it would hit you, but like, we all do things to support the family. We all do whatever. And like, I know that there are dirtbag parents out there that have like raked their kids, but like, I don't know, society, we should take care of that.
Yeah. I think to me, I see like both sides, right? I see the side of like, one, there are people out there that do film content to make a lot of money and they keep it from their kids. But I also don't feel like they 100% keep it from their kids. Like they still live in the house that has paid for by that money. They get to ride in the vehicles that are paid for. But I understand that they don't physically have that money, but there's no way they're not getting some kind of like trickle down effect, if you will.
Well, yeah. And like, I mean, I've seen some of these ones that we've even talked about, the parents that, you know, whatever, blew their child up. A lot of these like child stars on various social media or YouTube or whatever. But like, I've met plenty of 6-year-old kids that can be lively and personable in front of a camera. I've not met a lot that know how to edit videos, market the videos, get any real traction on, really do anything business related. Yeah. So it's like when, you know, like little kid is like, I was a brand. Yeah, you were a licensing deal.
Yeah.
You know, your likeness and whatever. And again, I'm so far against, I mean, my kids don't do any of that type of stuff. I'm not against my kids doing it, but like I'm against being a dirtbag to my kids in any way, shape, or form.
Right. Yeah, I think that I just have so many issues with it because it's like, okay, well, now do I get to charge my kids for meals now? And like, like when we go on a family vacation, like, do I need to like take money out of their account to like pay for this?
I feel like the government wants you to think of your own children that way instead of like your child and you're all just working as a family to make some money and support this lifestyle.
Right. And also, again, this is an extreme case, but like, you know, I think about Diana and Roma on TV. They have like 100 million. So when they become 18, and they have this huge platform that their parents helped build them, and they're still making millions of dollars a year. Are they going to turn around and give their parents money? But I mean, they could. But what I'm saying is, no one's mandating it. Right. So yeah, I really struggle with this law because I get it. There's people that are going to take advantage of it on both sides. Like there's people that are going. I
guess though the real crux of it is Illinois is so free of other issues that they need to like waste like taxpayer time and money to like vote on this shit.
No, because Chicago is in Illinois. So
yeah, I know. Well, I'm just saying, like, really, this is just a way to tax that money somehow. I don't know. They're just they're getting their hands in your family, and you don't want it.
Yeah, Again, I just think that it's very hard. I don't think it would really truly hold up anywhere because then you'd just be like, you know, I could pay my kids like actually we do pay Letty, you know, we pay Letty because she's in marketing campaigns and stuff. So we actually do pay her, but it's just like 15% of the influencer's gross earnings. I just feel like that's like kind of like saying like I'm going to take all this. And then what if they had multiple companies? I don't know. It's just there's a lot of semantics to it, and I don't think that again the government should just not be involved in this kind of situation. I get it. People are going to take advantage of their children, but this probably, I don't know what state this is, but this is probably one of the states where you can abort your child up to whoever many weeks, and you don't care about them when they're in the belly, but you care about them when they're born, huh? Yeah. So that's probably too much for some people. Sorry, you know.
It's the truth.
We'll just jump into this study. Going to bed after 1 a.m. can lead to depression and anxiety. So regardless of how much you sleep, so both groups slept 7 hours, but one group went to bed after 1 and the other group went to bed before 1.
Or empirically or whatever, I 100% agree with you. I know all kinds of people that sleep all day, it seems like, and they just tell me how depressed they are. And it's like, stop staying up so late. Stop beaming lights into your eyeballs so late and then going to bed and sleeping all day and not getting sunlight.
Right. Well, like if you go to bed at 2 a.m., like 9 a.m., sun's been up for a hot minute, you know?
Dude, it's nuts.
Also, nothing good happens that late at night.
Nope. There's cocaine, boy. That's all people are up doing is the drugs. They're doing that book of sugar and boogieing down.
Yeah, unless you're running a company where you need to speak to overseas manufacturers and stuff like that.
Go to sleep early, wake up early. That's what I do. Yeah. See, I'll get up at 2:30 in the morning, but I went to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Good to go. Away from all the
hood rats.
Yeah. Just you don't need
I'm also surprised though the amount of people that are in the gym at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. Wholesome.
Yeah.
Getting their day started
but
wholesome.
Also, if you're like me and you're like a social butterfly, if you will, at the gym and you like to talk to people and you ever like, hey, I need to go to the gym and I don't want anyone to talk to me, go at 4 a.m. Nobody talk to you. Everyone's got their headphones on. No one talking to you. Yeah. They just working.
They talk to me. But I talk to everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're like, hey, Adam's here.
It's not nearly what it's like at
no, for sure. Well, during the middle of the day, people, I don't even think they're there to work out. I'm just like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
But no, morning crew is good. Plus, everybody knows that, you know, there's that like respect. Not that it obviously takes motivation and discipline and stuff to go to the gym every day. The folks that are there that early, you know, when you go that early, it's normally because you pretty much go first thing out of the gate. It's later, but you go out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because you protect that time. You go like, dude, my day could go sideways. I know this part of my morning is just like, don't call me. Yeah, just don't call me. I'll deal with it in an hour. And then, you know what I mean? Whereas like, who knows what the hell is going to happen during the day, and it wears you out and shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I used to try to do lunchtime workouts because I was like, that way I can like jump in the morning, be here, then I'll just like run at lunch, get a workout in and come back. It just never worked. I mean, things happen like what happened today. Like, so literally right before this, you know, I told you the storefront was at like 83, had to like suck out the drain lines, call the AC people, see if they could come by. But like that whole rigmarole was like probably 30, 45 minutes of my time, which would have been like when I was trying to go work out. So inevitably it never worked out for me to do that. I know a lot of people like to do it at the end of their day. It's hard for me to like do that just because I feel like I could keep working forever.
Same. Yeah, I can't really go because I should be working.
Yeah.
Working on something. Even when I like leave and go home, like I can't disengage my brain for a minute, you know? So I'll just be at the gym going like, I need to look this up. I need to check an email.
Right.
Send an email. I need to like whatever. And then.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's for you, your kids are always home. But like for me, like Letty's home after 4. So like, why would I want to go after 4? Like missing time with my family. Like I don't want to miss time with my family. So for me, it's like, I'd rather go at 8, like right when she drops off at school, and then just try to get it done and be back here.
That's the other reason I go that early too, is they're sleeping.
I know. Yeah. I can't do it.
No, I don't blame you. I don't recommend necessarily people do it, because if you're not wired for it, a lot of times folks do it, then they hate going to the gym, or they hate whatever.
I used to be able to do it when I was just like me solo and when I was outside Seattle, like living there, because I could like set my bedtime. Yeah. I could get everything ready. I could wake up in the morning, turn on lights. I could do stuff. Yep. Like the hard part is I'm like, I don't want to wake up Aubrey and then make it thing. And then I'm going to have to set an alarm, and Letty's sleeping in our room now. So like if I set an alarm, I'm going to wake both of them up. And then Aubrey's got to deal with the repercussion of Letty sees me leaving and she's like, well, it's time to get up. So I was just like, yeah, anyways. I know it sounds like a lot of excuses, but really it's the situation that we're in.
I'm just like, go back to bed. It's not time for you to get up.
I wish that worked. It doesn't work for us. If you have ever, thought that there was aliens living on Earth.
Yeah, let's pull that up.
It's the Antarctic strawberry feather star.
Yeah.
It literally looks like it's an alien from another planet.
That's because it is.
It has like tentacles and all kinds of stuff. If Eastman learns how to work a computer, so
space octopus. Oh yeah. It's a space octopus.
It literally looks like the face of the aliens or whatever.
Yeah, the face sucker or face whatever.
It has like 20 tentacles, and it lives at ocean depths from 65 to 6,500 feet. Mm-hmm. Also, I'd have to assume it's very, very cold.
Space octopus.
20 or 10 arms, so that's random. It could have 20 or 10, who knows, you know?
Male or female.
But yeah. I don't know. I wish I could see it.
That's fun. What's it look like? How'd they find it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
All right, we'll report back next week. But the
strawberry-like shape. Tell me how that's strawberry-like at all.
Just the little middle part.
Just the middle.
Yeah.
Like, look at this one little part.
How
like
big is it?
I don't know.
This is trippy.
I couldn't.
So is this some of that?
No measurement. Only describing it as large, so it's big.
Oh yeah. Is this some of that? What they call the cryptozoology that there's people are doing now? Have you seen that?
No.
They're calling it like cryptids or whatever. So there's like folks that are, and I don't know what they've found yet, right? Need more info here, but there are folks that are going like, all right, there's something to Loch Ness Monster, and not just doing the stuff they did before where they're like finding, they're like digging through research, like history and references and like looking at stuff. They're doing it in South America. I've seen a guy, I can't think of his name, that has some kind of biology background, or at least seems like he does, on Joe Rogan, and then I've seen him on a couple of the other, talking about different rare or new species they found in the rainforest. And,
well, did you know they found 3 new species of sharks?
Oh, that's cool. No.
In Alabama and Tennessee.
Hell yeah. Roll Tide.
So, I mean, I think it must be like some kind of Mississippi River situation. I don't know. But anyways, I just saw an article on it briefly, and I was going to put it on here, but I was like, we have too much to talk about. But like, I guess it kind of makes sense with this. But
like inbred or just different?
No, they're just like 3 species that have gone extinct of sharks that we never even knew existed. So, 3 new ancient shark species in Kentucky and Alabama.
In Kentucky.
10 to 20 feet long, 10 to 12 feet long. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, science. I'll see you.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess, it'd be interesting, one day if, I don't know if you'll ever know this thing, but like if you go to heaven and somehow you're like just given like all the knowledge of like Earth, and be like, oh dang, there's so much we didn't know, I wonder, you think you'll like know that stuff, or you just won't even care,
I don't think you'll care. Yeah. You'll be free.
Yeah.
Free from these earthly chains.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. I guess nothing else really matters. So who cares if you didn't know all this stuff? But it would be like nice to know, like
that thought has always kind of perplexed me though, because it is presented like you're free. You're in heaven. You're with the Father. They don't specifically go, you're like, peace, suckers. Yeah. But they're like, you just stop caring about your everyone here.
Yeah. Well, it's
like
hard.
Because on Earth, we want to think that like our grandparents or whatever are like watching down on us and like caring for us.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, they've stripped themselves of that's baggage.
Yeah. Also, something, speaking of heaven, that like, it literally hurts my head to think about eternity.
Oh, yeah.
Because like we talk about, you're like, you saying, oh, you get up there and you're just like, I'm like, then you're just thinking about like never ending. Like my brain like kind of like gets there and it's like does not compute and just like starts like hurting my head to think about eternity. Like think about the fact that like everything you ever have known is finite and you are going to have an eternal life.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you just think it's like, where's the end? There's never end. I don't know. It's weird. It hurts my head.
Yeah, it hurts my head.
There's a couple other things to talk about. The prison of the future. Have you heard about this at all? I have. So
I don't like it.
I'm not a huge fan of it either, but essentially, they have these like AI prisons where they will inject memories into your mind and I guess essentially like rehabilitation. So like you could literally murder someone. I doubt they're going to do it for murders, but you could do something bad and they're going to put you in this thing. And instead of spending 40 years in prison, you're going to spend 4 hours.
It's literally Clockwork Orange, the movie. Have you seen that movie? Okay. Clockwork Orange. It's old. It's literally that. It's an older movie, but yeah, man, no, it's brainwash. It's introducing brainwash has entered the chat, and for whatever reason, no, it's not good.
Right. In my opinion, time is your most valuable asset.
They make these little things. They're called 9mm rounds, and you can inject those into bad guys at your leisure, and it'll rehabilitate them. So, they come in 17-round capacities usually, sometimes plus.
Okay.
Glock makes a lot of them.
But
so you take bad guys, you just inject them with a few of those, and they're not bad anymore.
I was like, at first I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
Nope, yeah.
Like,
well, okay, this is crazy, dude. Who pays for this?
What I'm trying to say though is like most of the punishment, in my opinion, is the time. Like if you rob a bank and you have to do 20 years in prison, the punishment isn't prison. The punishment is the fact that you can't do anything in the real world, if you will, for 20 years. So in my opinion, if you want to do some kind of punishment that's like techie, put the person to sleep for 20 years and they still age and they lose that clock.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I'm for the forced slave labor or anything, but like hard manual labor might be scary if you had to do that day in and day out. I truthfully don't think the prison system reforms anybody. I don't even think it's supposed to be that way.
No, it's a private entity that makes money.
It's just to make money.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's all age-based reincarceration rates. So if you're under a certain age, you're going to recommit. You're going to do something wrong. If you're over a certain age, it's way less likely, but you're also way less capable of breaking laws.
Right.
Shelving somebody for an indefinite distance. I understand the draw of like, you're a thief. Now we're going to make you feel really psychological. Like all it's going to do is probably trigger people. Again, Clockwork Orange, he's like a serial like rapist and just a terrible person. And the goal is to brainwash him so that like he just feels physical pain whenever he tries to do anything like that. And like, it's literally removing free will from your body. Like it's not that we don't have, and I'm not urged to do anything illegal per se, but it's not that we don't have urges.
Yeah.
It's that we don't act on them that make us human and noble.
Yeah, they actually, I don't know if this is still true, but when I was in high school psychology, they said people that don't actually visualize or like imagine themselves doing bad and illegal things are the ones that commit the crimes.
Yeah.
Because almost like your imagination of doing it, like, I mean, you've been in a bank before and you've been like, I wonder how I robbed this bank.
If you have an active enough imagination, I have run through so many scenarios, so many things in my head.
Yeah.
But like, it's having the discipline, the whatever. Like if something just forced you to make your bed every day, you wouldn't get any credit for having that discipline.
Right.
Jordan Peterson kind of said it's not really, but folks are either most folks think they're gentle, but really they're harmless. You can't do any harm. That's why a person that could just rip your face off is being gentle to you. Right. Or whatever. And so you're not making the decision you would just be crippling a generation, right? Like I could rip someone's face off, but I don't. I keep reserved. Nothing is like shocking me into thinking that, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it just like, I couldn't imagine it being a crime that had a victim. Even if that victim wasn't like dead or anything, but to know like this person got brainwashed for 30 minutes and now they're back out in the world. You know what I mean? For me, I'd be like, no, this BS, bro. Like put them in prison for 10 years. Don't send them back out in the world. I
don't know what this could be. I mean, they could,
do you think we'll get to this point though? Or like
they can do it with the freaking pedos all they want to, but
I don't think that we'll ever get there though. Because like we talked about before, the prison is a money making.
Oh yeah.
I guess a lot of people probably don't realize this because I didn't realize this when I was younger, but like the prison isn't owned by like the U.S. government, right? There are literally companies that own the prison.
Yeah, I mean, there's
systems.
states that own prisons. There's still state facilities, but most of the time, even if they're not wholly owned, they're staffed. They're, the CCPs and the different stuff of the world that come in and provide all the officers and the training and the standard of living, and they're the ones that set what's, because you got to think about it, and like we've agreed that these people have committed enough crimes just as a whole. We've agreed that you've been bad, so you have to stay in this place. Well, how bad is that place? Because the punishment isn't supposed to be like dilapidated living conditions. It once was. Punishments aren't supposed to be that you're in there with scary neighbors who might also beat you up. It's not rehabilitation. That's just like, or you're going to have to go to the scary place.
Right.
There's no thought put into it other than don't think about it. But like we've even talked about, public school sets you up perfectly to know how to act in institution like that.
Right.
Line up, walk down the hall, walk on this line, eat at this time, get your food from here, do this thing. It's
make friends with certain people so that you can survive.
Literally, it's interesting correlations there.
Yeah. I guess we go to the lighter note. This is something I'm actually really excited to talk about. Hines launched a bottle that has every sauce mixed together. It's called the Every Sauce bottle, and they actually list out what's in it, but they're calling it the Mega Fan bottle because I think they're only making something like, it's ridiculously a low amount. I wanted to say it said like 100 limited edition bottles or something like that. But
so it's just going to be a fancy sauce.
Yeah. Random selected winners from the draw will receive one of the 100 limited editional bottles. So
Mayo must.
It has Heinz burger sauce, garlic sauce, aioli sauce, smoky baconaise, sweet chili, chip sauce, saucy sauce, which I don't even know what that is, mayo racha, which must be mayonnaise and sriracha, truffle mayo, garlic and caramelized onion mayo, curry ketchup, pickle ketchup, and smoky bacon ketchup. Just by looking at it, it's very mayo heavy.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. That's that's the condiment game. It's mayo, mustard, or ketchup, or some mixture of those.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's mayo with different types of ketchup, garlic, sweet chili, sriracha, all mixed in.
Yep.
Oh, mayo mustard. Yep. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I would like to try it, but I definitely won't be trying it if there's only 100 bottles because it's probably going to be ridiculously
hard to
expensive.
get. I would try it.
So
sounds like it'll be savory as long as it's not sweet. I'm not a fan of sweet. That's awesome.
Should we make a cookie with all the ingredients?
Yes.
I think we kind of did that one time for our 420 cookie one time. We're literally just like sprinkles in this and potato chips and chocolate chips. It's actually pretty good. It's really hard to make a cookie that's not good.
It's hard for us to anyways.
Yeah. But it's just like we have good base and then you mix a bunch of stuff in there. If anything, you just make it would just be like overpoweringly sweet, if anything. But
I want to make another savory cookie. Just like a real hella savory. I don't know how we do that, but I want
to. Mashed potatoes and gravy,
Hey, yummy.
Like which one? We have our like cornbread, honey butter one.
Like a potato chip.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Like a little chocolate, little potato chips.
The Cheez-It peanut butter cookie was pretty.
I know. I never tried it.
Yeah.
I never got to try
it. Reminded it just
cookie?
It just really reminded me of those cheddar peanut butter crackers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you would have to. I feel like you need to go that route where it was like savory, but not like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Savory,
Yeah.
So
yeah, we still wanted to be a dessert and enjoyed, but like I think you see what Reese's Cup has like the potato chip stuffed in the middle of it,
right? Yeah,
different other things. Or you just kind of work something like that in. Could be.
Yeah. I think
that
keep it
from getting stale.
The chip. Yeah. I feel like you have to encapsulate it completely, or else it does get stale. Whenever we've been anytime we experiment with pretzels or chips or anything like that, you have to get them coated in chocolate, or else just not a fan of that. Should we make a cookie with all the different bites? That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I guess if you took 5, well, no, you could take more bites. We could just you could make a mass of the bites and just bake it and see what happens.
I think it would not hold apart. I think too much of the core would run and prevent, unless you really stuck it together.
Well, you could technically stick it together, refreeze it.
Yeah, if you did that, it would probably work. Because otherwise, I think you'd stick it and then there'd be all those core pockets.
Yeah.
Could be kind of cool too.
It may just melt into it. We'll try it.
RJ, you got a video.
Now we got to try this. Okay. All right. And then... I wanted to talk about the Greece 6-day work week, because I actually have no idea about this one. I know in the U.S. there's a big push for 4-day work week. Believe it or not, I worked for BASF and we started a 4-day work week, and then they essentially complained that the stuff wasn't getting done on Fridays, and they made us do 980s, which was, you had two choices. You could pick your 980 schedule. It was either you worked 9 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday you worked a half day, or every other Friday you worked a full day and you had one Friday off. But they made it so that we were in A-B groups. So if you chose the day off, there was someone else there. So it was kind of half staffed on Fridays, but it was a little bit more than half because some of the people chose the half day and they just came in every Friday for a half day. But that's why I feel like that in most scenarios, a 4-day work week doesn't work unless you have enough employees to stagger throughout. Not everyone's going to work Monday through Thursday.
Well, that's right. But usually for it to work, and so I don't know what Greece is doing, but you just kind of have to have mass participation.
Right.
So it's it would need to be similar days per week. Certain countries have where everything's closed on Sunday. Just is. It's your day to do whatever you need to do your thing. Here's what I know. I know that the very realistic, I've said this for my whole life, that I don't believe I will make it to where retirement is realistic in the bill of goods I've been sold up to this date. Social Security and Medicaid. I don't think any of that's going to be available for Americans. I think we're going to outrun it very quickly. So I know that people are going to work longer and longer in their life. And so I know everybody needs the money now, but so as to live your life while you're alive. I like the 4-day work week. I like the idea of having days for yourself, days for your family and your spirit, and
Well, I mean, in my opinion, though, I think a 4-day work week is going to cause more people to just get another job that they work one day a week, and then they end up working 5 days a week still. And they work more hours, because they actually said that the job market, the reason it looks so hot right now is the amount of people getting second jobs, or people coming out of retirement to get jobs because the cost of living has gone up so much. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they do it. The 6-day scheme, officials say, will only apply to private businesses providing round-the-clock services. Under the extended working week, staff in select industries and manufacturing facilities will have the option to work an additional 2 hours a day or an extra 8-hour shift with a top-up fee of 40% added to the daily wage. Oh, so it's almost like they're just giving them overtime.
Yeah. Weird.
Interesting. It's based on, they're doing it because of the shrinking population. So they essentially need more people working in Greece. So they're doing that. I mean, I feel like a 4-day work week would only work here, if that weird, if we did you had Monday through Thursday, and then you had people that work Tuesday through Friday. So that way
we'll probably be 7 days here pretty soon.
But I mean, the same people won't be working 7 days a week.
Oh yeah, well then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so I think we could potentially go to a 4-day work week here at Fat and Weird and have certain people just work 4 days.
Yeah, we were able to transition US Law into that pretty easily. So the guys had Monday through Thursday, though. Friday got to get floated around because we would have rain days.
Right.
So everybody came in knowing really during the summertime it was you just working as many hours as I can get you for.
Right.
And the guys needed the money and they liked it, but yeah, you might have Wednesday off, so we moved to Friday. It was really my way to try to preserve their weekends.
Right.
The best ability, but shit, summertime, they had to work Saturdays too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, this doesn't really relate to that, but
yeah,
I can see the draw for it. I know that once I'm at work, might as well be at work another 2 hours and have a whole day off.
I mean, I definitely preferred the 4-day work week whenever I was at BASF. The only problem with it, truthfully, is it depends on what your role is. But for me, like sometimes I would still get phone calls on Friday.
Yeah.
And so it kind of turned into this thing of like, it's a 4-day work week, but it's still the work week on a Friday. So we may want to call you and ask you questions. And so,
well, it's tough. It's been something that I've had to learn to respect of other people's time because I've been an entrepreneur for so long.
Yeah.
That like, you're not working today. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like I just called you. You answered it. You're working now.
You know what's helped
me? We're talking about work.
Slack.
Yeah.
I used to, because like I just want to text you when something comes to my mind. And the thing is like, I don't need you to work on it right then. But if I don't text you about it, I'm going to forget.
Sure.
And Slack has been a nice way that it's almost like a work email that you can kind of just be like, dump it over there. And that's been very helpful to me because again, like it'll be 8:00 at night on a Saturday and I'll think of something like, oh shoot, we need to do this, or, oh, this would be a good idea. And I just like want to text the person. And it's like, I feel like it puts them in a weird spot. They're like, my boss is texting me at 8:00 on a Saturday night. And it's like, yeah, I'm not texting you because you need to do it now. I'm just texting you so that like next time you're working, like pull this up.
Yeah,
now
it's been tough for me to deal with, but it is what it is. We've all got our issues.
All right, let's see about this mouse and chocolate, especially if it's actually Hershey's, because I want to talk crap.
Why does this keep on happening? Someone is now claiming that they have found a dead rat in their bottles of Hershey's chocolate sauce. They said that they started pouring out the sauce on their brownies when they noticed a small hair. They decided to open the bottle fully and pour it into a cup, and that's when they discovered this. Hershey's themselves even commented on the video apologizing and asking them to get into contact. But the problem is, this is not the first time. There have been multiple claims recently of dead rodents in cans or bottles. And while it's hard to say which are real or which are fake, here's how it could have happened. You see, in the manufacturing process, cans or bottles that hold liquids are left without lids while a sealant is placed on the inside. If a manufacturing facility does not maintain strict hygiene standards, it's possible that rodents could climb or fall into these containers and go unnoticed until they are sealed. At which point, it's too late. However, in previous lawsuits for this very thing, lawyers on behalf of the drinks companies argued that even if they were sealed in the can, the acidity of the drink would have decomposed the rodent before it made it to the customer. Or at the very least, the gases would have caused the can to burst or bloat. So the question is, do you think that people are actually finding dead rodents in their drink?
Yeah, I don't think they are.
Well,
as much as I want to talk shit about Hershey's.
The layperson isn't going to understand the speed that these things are moving. They're moving dangerously fast. It's not a way that the animal could time that jump.
What we talked about too is they do a high temp, high pressure wash of the cans before they like fill it. And so like if the rat was in there when it did the high temp, high pressure wash, it would be blown out.
Yeah, it would blow it up from the bottom. It does a full 180 through that little corkscrew thing super fast. Then they're filled and capped almost instantaneously. The bottle fillers are going to go the same way. And then, literally, I know it's kind of disgusting, whatever, find the dead animals disgusting too, but the initial decomposition, like the gases that would give off in that sealed environment would be like bulging.
Well, you saw that rat, like how emaciated it was, like skinny and tiny. That it was not that way. So all the gases had to have left its system, like you were saying. So like
they found a dead rat and they put it in the drink.
Yeah,
which should be
the Alani one. I truly think the Alani one was 100%. Someone opened their drink in the garage, like working or doing something. Left it for. If you got a mouse in there and it's been a couple hours and it's looking for water, it's probably going to just go in. And I truly think it fell in if it were in fact in there that way. So,
that's their old school branding, dude. They've had that for years. Who knows that blue can?
Oh yeah. It's like, yeah. I tend to not believe it. I know the Mountain Dew one. They literally said like. I think they pulled up that drink, and that drink had been like sealed like 8 months prior to the person buying it and claiming they had a rat, and they were like, literally, there'd be nothing left.
Yeah.
You ever put a tooth in a Coke?
Yeah. Dissolve it.
It just literally dissolves that thing. So you just think about the fact that the acid would just dissolve it. And like you said, I mean, that freaking bottle would either be exploding or be like shrunk in or something be weird about it. So, Yeah. As much as I want to talk crap on Hershey's, there's not really, I don't.
Take it a pass.
Yeah, I don't believe that's a real thing. So we've covered all of our topics. Do you have any updates on the fat and weird front?
No, just rocking and rolling for Publix, getting everything done there, getting the supply chain kind of reestablished. You know, we found a couple of new suppliers, so we're not under one umbrella, if you will, one brand's umbrella.
We got all of the cookie dough bites. That new product that we're launching has been officially picked up by our food distributor, who is going to distribute to DoorDash for us. So I think I have a meeting with DoorDash tomorrow. And so then we'll be able to like talk about when they'll actually be rolling things out, and then we'll post more about it, because we really haven't posted about this product at all.
Yeah, we talked to the content team earlier today, so they're spun up and ready to do DoorDash heavy, bites heavy content. So we'll get Peach State to shoot them their stuff that they can do. And
then Andy, like I said, Andy's joined us, so we're looking to do some giveaways. So he's found us a red, white, and blue American themed Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
We want to fill it with like cookie dough bites and cookies and like ship it to someone. So that's on the agenda to do. And so there's a lot of fun stuff in store for Fat and Weird in the future. Publix order. I'm really excited about that. Yep. I mean, I feel like I've been talking about Publix for a year now. Actually, I think I talked about this last time. August of 2023 is when they got their sample bags in there. And it's just crazy to think that it'll probably be like September, October timeframe before we're actually in the Publix.
That's realistic.
And so when you think about that, it's like been over a year of going through that. Target, same way. I mean, we were talking about Target by the end of 2023, and now it's probably going to be like in the next couple months, but still, by the time we're actually in there, it'll be the end of 2024.
Yeah, that's wild.
One thing I've learned about wholesale is just how slow it moves. Yep. But the volume is like so massive. Like, it moves slow, but Publix's order was pretty much our entire volume of 2023.
Yeah. Initial order.
Right. And so obviously, the next question is this a quarterly, or is this an annual, or is this a monthly? Like, got to figure out the sell-through rates and stuff, but really excited about that opportunity. Target's like 423 stores. And then we've met with Cinemark, and then we're going to meet with Regal on our cookie dough bites in a cup.
That's right.
So
y'all are going to love it.
Yeah. A lot of our employees haven't tried the cookie dough bites because they're so new. The OGs have like tried the cookie dough bites because we've been working on it for so long. But I walked through the facility and was like letting them try it, and all of them were like super excited about it. So that got me like amped up. Like, let's do it. Stuff. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed another episode in the oven with us. You're worth it. Do hard shit.